In this video, I want to show you the feature we call Company. We're here in the Contacts tab, and we're going to be looking at companies. Now, this is exactly what it sounds like. It's when multiple of your contacts belong to a company, and you want to be able to group them so that you can organize your contacts, but then also take advantage of some of the features that Company allows you to use. I've already set this up, and I'll show you what I've set up, and then we'll create everything from scratch. So here in Company, we have Palmer Technologies, and if we pop over here to Contacts, we've attached 2 contacts to this company. You can fill all this out with the different fields, and then we can also assign tasks to the company. This task is assigned to, it's assigned to demo user. This is our demo account. Demo user is the admin person using the account, and the contact is Thea Queen. So we have this one assigned to Thea Queen. So if we were to click on Thea's record, we would see that this task actually shows up in her account. Now let me back up for a minute. So if we were to go over here to opportunities, we actually have an opportunity here that we can, move through the different stages. It says Palmer Tech here, but in all actuality, I just named the opportunity that. The opportunity actually is attached to Felicity. So if I were to say, click on this, it would open up Felicity's contact profile, because that's the contact that is the primary contact for this opportunity. We also have additional contacts. We can add up to 10 additional contacts. So we could add 10 contacts that belong to this company, and the 11th one would be the primary contact name. And so what I've done here is I've just changed the opportunity name. The opportunity name can be anything, so that when it shows up here in my pipeline, it looks like it's named after the company, but really that's just overriding the opportunity name. And again, you can fill out these with whatever you want. So this is a way to have a company move through the different stages of a pipeline instead of an individual contact. And so one of the features you may find really useful with this is that you may start off talking with one contact at a company, and then either that contact leaves the company or their role changes at the company, and now you need to speak with a different contact, or maybe you're moving up the ladder until you get to the decision maker, that kind of thing. So this is a great way to keep all that organized under one company, and also be able to change the contacts you're working with at any given time without having to lose all your progress. So let's start from scratch and create this. So we're going to go over here to Contacts. We're going to go to Company. And then I'm just going to make up a company. And let's see here. None of this is actually required, so we'll go ahead and add the company. And so now when we open the company, we're going to want to assign contacts. So if we put in any of our contacts here, let's grab Tony, let's grab Natasha and Bruce. That should be enough to start with. Now we've got the different contacts, and because Bruce Banner actually had a task assigned to him already, that shows up here in the company tasks. We also have company notes too. So any notes that we add here will show up for the company. If you add notes for the individual contacts, they show up here as well. So now let's go create an opportunity from scratch. So let's add, maybe we want to get Marvel on our podcast, for example. So we're going to select the primary contact for this. Let's go ahead and go with Tony. There we go, Tony Stark. Now here's where we can change the opportunity name to the company name instead. Once we've got that, you can change any of these things that you want. You can also, change which fields show up here, and we hit create. Now that we've created it, you see this additional contact appeared. Now we can add the other contacts in that company. There we go. We are done. So let's update. There we go. And now we also have this box wasn't here before, but we have the option now to hide empty fields so that you can just see what is filled out. All right, and so now here again, we can add tasks, we can add notes, we can book appointments with that person. And now Marvel can move through the pipeline. Now, if we want to create a task that's associated with this, like we have the guest spot booked, maybe we need to get the bio information and we need to get it from Natasha because we know Natasha's the one that gets things done. If we were to open this and add a task here, it's going to add it to the primary contact person. So if we know for sure we want it to be assigned to Natasha, then we should just pop over to Natasha's contact. And we should add the task here. Add our user, contact is Natasha, and we can change the due date to, something ahead of time. Let's do this. And hit save. All right, so now we have the task in Natasha's account in her contact profile, but if we were to pop over here to company, click on Marvel Tech, there it is. Get correct bio info from Natasha. Contact is Natasha, assignee is the user, which we're playing the part of the user right now. Status, we can mark it as complete. Like for example, this one was overdue 13 days ago. I'm going to say we took care of that one, mark that one as complete. Now, what happens if Natasha leaves the company? Or maybe Natasha's so good at her job, she gets promoted and she's no longer our go-to for this, but we don't want to lose all the history. Now, if she's just being promoted, you might want to just keep the history with her, or you might want to start a fresh contact for her new role. And then maybe keep all of our history with her and assign it to the new contact. However you want to do that. I'm going to assume she's left the company and we're replacing her with a new contact. So go back to our smart lists where we see all of our contacts, and we're going to add a new contact. Let's just call this Natasha's replacement. And we could give them an email, we can give them phone number and all that, but we're not required to do any of that right now. So let's just hit save. So now we have a brand new contact with no history. This is someone who just got hired by the company. They don't have any history with us, but we want to roll over all of Natasha's history. So we're going to go back to our smart list and we're going to merge these two. So at this point, there's two ways you could do this. We could just rename Natasha's account to somebody else. Like we could just give it a new name and a new email. But I want to show you how to merge people just in case it is easier. So we're going to merge these two into one by clicking on this icon here to merge. And so here's where we get to choose what we keep. So let's say we're going to keep the new person's name. They're probably going to have a new email. So we'll go with the new email that we add. We want to make sure that they're still on the email subscriber list. We want to keep that task. We want to keep their opportunity. So we just add the confirm language and click resolve. So now, as you can see, all the history for Natasha, all these opportunities created back to September 10th, this is all still here, even though Natasha did it. And if we wanted to, we could just add a note. Okay, so we'll just save that. And there we go. So now we've just merged them into one. So now Natasha's replacement starts with the history built in. And because we merged those two contacts together, Natasha's replacement is automatically in the Marvel Tech company. If we wanted to remove her for any reason, we would go back over here to Company, Marvel Tech, Contacts, and remove Natasha's replacement from the company. And it's that simple. If you have any other uses for companies that this doesn't work for, like if you have a use case where you want companies to work in a certain way and this doesn't cover it, let us know. Describe your use case so we can describe it to the developers, and we'll see if we can get that built for you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this feature brings your business more success.